let's get to, how this season has gone. Obviously, just the other day, outrighted by the Braves, elected free agency. What's next for you?
Uh, all honesty, I haven't picked up a baseball since my last pitch in St. Louis. Um, as of now, I don't think we're gonna keep going. I think this is it. Time to turn the page, focus on the next chapter in life, and go help all the young kids, all the stuff that I did, so they don't have to take 2 steps backwards. They can take those 3 steps forward.
That's incredible for you to come on here and basically, say your retirement. I'm not going to say you're fully retired because all of a sudden somebody might give you a call for an injury. But again, your career has been absolutely spectacular. Every time I look, I'm like, how's my boy still playing here? How the heck is he doing it? Because guess what? One, determination. Two, pure athleticism as a pitcher. And you're healthy, man. You're healthy as can be, and you threw strikes and you got after. But I appreciate everything you've done for me, even though we played for a little bit in Texas. We had such a good time being with the boys, and I'm going to say now, congratulations. If this is the end, well deserved. Ride off in the sunset in your new cars, those old school cars you got, and just skate yourself away, baby, in California. Let's go.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. That means a lot. No, I mean, yeah, this has been a great ride. Way more than I expected to from a 42nd round draft pick. You know, um, the thing is I was given a gift early on. I understood it, but it was, how am I going to make it last? How can I keep it going for this long? And I always said, I want to go out the way I came in, being able to roll out of bed and throw a baseball. And fortunately, I'm still able to do that. And like I said, I had a conversation with my college coach. He's one of the biggest mentors in my life. Then you go to the background of my family, my wife and kids, being there the entire time from day one, and then allowing me to go through this, being a knucklehead and just being stubborn with this, trying to get what we wanted to get accomplished, to where we're at today. And then the people that I came across, you guys, you two in the booth, those conversations we had, the talks, watching you guys go about your business as professionals, the guys I had my first year in pro ball all the way up through to my last day. All the conversations we had, I still took that and tried to learn. And, this game's still about adapting, right? So I felt like I went from, throwing 91, 92 when I came in to throwing 100, and then now throwing, 89, 90. So I always understood how to, if I wanted to stick around, you had to make moves, make adjustments, whether it was, moving on the rubber, throwing a different pitch, committing into one, banging one so it doesn't work because it doesn't work anymore. It was all about that and the conversations I had early on. I think that's all it boils down to.
All right, I want to go early on. First of all, anytime I can shout out like a 2002 draft pick, that is I'm always going to shout those out because we're part of that. Now, you got picked much later than me, so it must have been that I was a much better player because picked in the 29th round. They waited for you in the 42nd round. So that's where it's at. But we never actually got to play together. We were in spring training together in 2009. Mm-hmm. And the story, because I've had this story on deck forever, the story is when we got our meal money, we went out. Do you remember how you got Ryan Domitz? Who else did you get? Sean Burnett's, and I forget who else's meal money. Do you remember? We were all out hanging out, and we just got the meal money envelopes. We used to get a meal money envelope, and Todd remembers, it was like $1,000, $1,200 of cash. Do you remember how you got all their meal money one night?
No.
Okay. They said, Domit was the one that came up with it. Domit said, Jesse said, would you ever lick a urinal cookie for all of our meal money?
No, that was Sean. That was Sean, not me.
So then you lost it. So
I
then you lost the
money
money
too.
So you gave your meal money away. Okay.
I gave that away. Yes.
Did that. I love that.
Yeah.
I can't like that's the kind of stuff like hanging out with the guys afterwards and like, are you gonna miss that now that you're Dunsky?
Yeah. I would say that's probably the biggest part. What we do on the field is what we're expected of, but being able to hang out outside, talk about life, talk about family stuff, how the kids are, how's the wife doing, how's everything going off of the field, so that way we know when we show up when something's going off on the field. We don't look the right way. We have an empty face, or we snap a little bit more when we're going in a conversation, or the tone might not be differently. But being able to understand that and leave the stuff at the field and the stuff away from the field, which is the family stuff, but mesh them both to where we can get our job done at the same time, it's huge. But, so that's how I look at it.
Which time that you signed with the Braves is most meaningful to you? Obviously, this year you got to sign back. It's your last uniform you'll put on. You won a World Series after, I think, signing a minor league contract, if I remember right. Which
Yes.
is there one time that you'll be like, wow, I remember that because the kids remembered it, the wife remembered it, or this happened?
2021, because it was the only offer I had. That one, it was the only offer I had after being first opening day I was at home from any affiliate or in affiliated baseball, so to speak. First time I was ever at home, and they were the only one that offered, and I felt I wasn't done. I felt the way I ended spring training that year with the Angels wasn't right. Rolled my ankle and had a subscap thing going on. But other than that, I rolled out of bed one day and went up top on the basketball court, threw a baseball, and arm felt good. I was like, all right, let's give it another try. Sent some numbers out, and they were the only team that called, and it was a blessing in disguise.
I'm going to go back to this retirement thing we talked about. What told you it's time to hang up? Was it family? Was it, just been playing for too long now? I want to be home. And my last question, if you did get the call, in the next week or so, are you going to say no? You know what I mean? There's questions you got to talk to yourself about.
Yeah. No, I mean, if it would be a big league job, yes. I think it's the way the upbringing is in minor league systems. Watching it from afar, it's not about development anymore. It's about, who's the hot hand and let's see what happens. And then I feel like some kids, when they get to AAA now, watching them from on both sides, it's like they think they're in the big leagues when they're in AAA because they're right there, and that ain't it. It's not the way it's supposed to be, And I'm not gonna, unless I'm a coach, it's the only way I'm gonna deal with it. Yeah, we all got stuff we want to get accomplished, and that's getting back to the big leagues when we're in AAA. And then in the big leagues, you see the same thing. If on other sides and both sides of it, you want to be on that side of the coaching side to instill that little, hey, come on now. There's 162. I know it's tough, but being able to, when you see the end, which is holding up that trophy, it's a little different.
What's the difference in the players that you've seen since the beginning of when you got called up to the big leagues in 08, I think was your first year, to the guys that are getting called up this year in 2025?
I don't know. It's just such a quick turnaround, real quick with them, and the process. And some of them take it and understand what it's like to be a professional, and some you just see it differently, I feel. And you see, I was one of them too at some point, I assume, where it was, you got to slap yourself and look in the mirror a little bit and be like, okay, wait a minute, let's hold off a little bit. But I feel now it's more about what we're all seeing on the end of it, the paycheck, and not the longevity.
So true.
Yeah, I mean, give us more on that, because you've been through obviously a long period of time in this game. How do you actually see that from the preparation, from the info? Do you feel like it's something that's growing from, high school and college and all of that? Or is it a lot of, hey, you get to a certain team, they're trying to maximize the arm. The player obviously wants to get the most out of the arm, but then that leads to a higher injury risk. What else have you seen specifically that you think has changed? Like, do you have any examples where you're like, hey, nowadays, this is what we're all doing, and this is what's leading to this problem?
My only thing I see differently is the way the training is. How me and I talk to the strength coaches all the time because I'm always in there, and it was about them communicating with their off-season coaches how it was like before. If you had an off-season coach or facility you went to train, they were in contact throughout the season as well. I mean, quote me if I'm wrong, right, Frage, Katsy? If you guys went to one of those, they had contact just to understand where you were coming from. And I feel like that's kind of a lost art in a way.
Why do you think that is? I mean, I know
I don't
teams
know.
want to keep guys healthy,
Yeah,
but
I
do
don't. I
you
don't know.
think it's an ego? Do you think it's a front office saying, no, we got to leave these guys alone? Where do you think it is? Because you said it's about money. Well, if it's about money, the only way most guys can make money is by longevity and staying around. So you better figure it out, right?
Mhm. Yeah, and I feel I don't know what happened with that, um, because before, I mean, now there's everybody's getting involved now, and it's fine. You have Driveline now in baseball, you have Maven in baseball, and that's great. There's other facilities that are in it, but they're in contact with the teams. But if a guy goes to a private place and they're not in contact, and then he gets hurt, then what do you do during the off season? I don't like that the player being questioned about that. Doesn't make sense because they're trying their hardest to get prepared for 162.
Kratz, what do? I'm in a bind and I need to make some food at home. I would like it to be home cooked, but I don't want to deal with any of the grocery crap.
HelloFresh, get it done. And they'll start to know when you're in a bind and they'll figure it out for you, sending something new whenever you order it. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it is. And there are dozens of menu items to choose from each week. They can also help you out if you need a little assistance. They can kind of cater to what your needs are or what your preferences are. They'll do a little Q&A session for you, and then you can be the star at home. Kratz is a superstar dad at home for his HelloFresh expertise. And if you want to get involved, then you can make sure that your summer is more enjoyable and delicious at HelloFresh.com/FT10FM. Get 10 free meals with a free item for life when you do that. HelloFresh.com/FT10FM. One per box with an active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan.
You kind of inkling this a little bit ago. Would you end up being a coach if the opportunity came to as well? Are you some guy that's going to want to do something like that in a couple of years, maybe next year, whenever?
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to help these guys out. I feel like I was given a lot more than I should have, and to go back and give it back for however long I can. I mean, I think that would be great. Conversations I can have with them, just on the field about how off the field preparation can take over and to make it a lot easier once you step between those lines. The philosophical talking, easing them through it, understanding who they are as a person. So that way now when they get on the mound, they're that person and not trying to be somebody that they're not, or trying to be, I should say.
Yeah, you might be the most valuable hire that anybody in any organization has. If you can get that through to front offices, I don't know if it's even players, because players are like, well, the front office said if I'm not throwing 97 every pitch that they're going to send me down. And you're like, actually, here's what you actually need to do. You just need to get outs. When you're in the big leagues, you need to get out. So if any organizations are listening to FT, Jesse Chavez is now willing to sign a $1.5 million coaching contract per year, and he will get your boys a 18-season career. Every one of them, but that doesn't seem to be of value to teams, I guess.
I would love to help out and do that. That'd be great. I mean, there are just a lot of things that I think I can help them out with from the mental side of it. Just being able to being in every situation, being a swing man, throwing in high leverage situations and throwing the worst situations you can, being down 9, which is, high leverage situation. So, a position player doesn't have to come in and pitch.
Facts. Now, in retirement, you get a lot better at things. You don't ever have to deal with arms hurting. I don't ever have to deal with chasing a slider in the dirt. So one of the other reasons I'm glad you were on is because we get to show my one at bat that I got against you, and when I went deep sauce. I mean way back. I mean, it's so far back that it's unbelievable. Like I don't
It's
even
like the 12th row.
That's
the wind,
awesome.
the wind was blowing out in Wrigley that day, but we're not even going to really talk about that.
Mm-mm.
You hit it in
Nope.
a perfect spot, too.
Yeah,
That's
over
the
the fence. That's the perfect spot.
Shortest porch.
But when you face Todd,
What happened?
you're 1 for 7 off of Jess.
His shit stuff was moving everywhere, but I couldn't handle it.
Everywhere.
Ying, ying, ying.
Is there one at bat? Is there one at bat from your career that you look back on and you go, that is a memorable at bat, or that is like a game-changing at bat. I remember I used to have a theory that if I hit a home run off a guy, they were either getting released, sent down to the minors, or not. So you stuck around. So I want you to make sure you know that. But is there one
Yeah.
for you where you're like, dude, I just battled, I don't know, Albert Pujols, Miggy Cabrera, like something where you're like, I belong in the big leagues, or that at bat I'll always remember this pitch.
There's two. There's two. They're two tied. It was the second out in the what was it, the 12th inning in Oakland when we played 18 innings against the Yankees. To finish that inning when I came in with second and third and one out. To finish that inning, my mind was like, okay, shoulders can drop now. You're reinvented now. This is who you are now. What I throw now is what I throw through then. And I was like, okay, now you can go with it. Now let's run with it. And then the other one was Miggy, the one when he broke my leg. Because that proved to me that, no matter how long you've been around, you still can't throw four of the same pitches to a Hall of Famer. Doesn't make sense. So I think that those two kind of stood out to me, that I was like, all right, back to being a big leaguer again. I mean, the first pitch in my career in the big leagues, I mean, you're numb to the fact. You don't really remember that one. You just know you were there. So that one kind of really didn't officially say I was a big leaguer, because you don't know how long it's going to last. But I would say those ones kind of solidified it for me.
Hey, you had a special relationship with the Braves and Braves fans. Obviously, you had multiple stops there. So, what was it like? I mean, you're fresh off the field right now, announcing your retirement. So, what was it like this year with Atlanta? Obviously, I know that didn't go as well on the field for the team, but just take us inside what it was like to be part of the org this year.
Oh, from day one, it was great. I mean, you could go back to 2010 till now. It's all been open arms. Anybody that comes in, you're welcomed. You're part of the crew, whether you've got making your debut or you've got 15 years in. You're welcome no matter what stature you are as far as what you've done in the game, and that's the best part about it. That makes it easier for you to show up every day, show up with a smile, and go out and do your business. And that's a testament to the organization up top, to being able to do that year in and year out and put that type of lineup and that type of roster together, to where they all feed together, they all feed off of one another. The conversations that they have aren't afraid to have, because that's what you're going to have in order to be successful. The tough ones, never a questioning conversation. It's always a meaningful and a moving forward conversation. So that's something that we all leave at the door, which is our ego, and understanding what we want to get accomplished today is when we step out into that dugout and up those stairs, there's one thing, and that's get a W for that night, and do our best to be able to contribute to what we wanted to do in 21 year in and year out. And that's awesome for Alex to do that for us, and the coaching staff, the training staff. And fortunate part about us this year was we got hit by the injury bug, and in a year where you're going in, you're looking at it like, man, this seems like another special year, but sometimes our motto was we always thought we could thrive in adversity, and we still can.
All right, I got to ask it because everyone always asks me this. I need you to name, in order, you can sans minor league teams, because I always have to put in my minor league teams, in order, all your big league teams. Can you name them from start to finish?
From start to finish, let's go Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, but it didn't count because it's an off-season move. I didn't suit up. Does that count?
No,
So I don't
I
get it.
appreciate that.
Counts,
I
right?
appreciate that. Yep.
Okay. All right. And then Atlanta, Kansas City, Toronto, Oakland, Toronto, the Dodgers, the Angels, the Rangers, the Cubs, Rangers, Angels in spring training of 21, Braves, Cubs of 22, Braves, Angels, Braves, 23. was Braves, spring training. 24 was the White Sox, then the Braves. Then this year was the Rangers, Braves.
That is
Hey, he did it.
Man.
He did it.
Wow.
Wow.
Man,
Wow. That's how you deliver under pressure. That is impressive
Oh.
to go through it like that.
Crazy.
Baseball player memories are just different. That was very
Mhm.
impressive, Jesse. Well, dude, we appreciate having you on. I mean, last thing, does it feel like a weight off your shoulders? Like, how do you feel when you know, come on here and say, "Hey, I'm calling it," from someone who did this for a long time and who didn't give up and bounced around to teams? Like, does it feel like you're ready for the next chapter, whether coaching, hanging out with fam, the whole thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Um, I mean, it's one that we've been talking about obviously for some time, but every time I come up to throw baseball, it feels great. So I might as well give it another try. You know what I mean? So I felt like now it's all the conversations I've had, this year and, last year as well. And the last few years, I felt like they were in the coaching capacity. So I feel like now it's finally time. I got the itch out of the system, got all the throws out of the system that I needed to get out of. So that way I'm not looking at a TV and biting my fingernails. I feel like now it's time to be like, all right, let's write some things down and get moving forward with what we want to get accomplished now. And that's help kids get their tenure, and eventually hold up some hardware, whether it's a Cy Young, whether it's a Reliever of the Year award, whatever case may be, and then eventually hold up another trophy as a coach. And I feel like I'm capable and well aware of enough to do that for him.